Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Al's Vintage Toy Trains. And what I have for a project today is rewiring this UCS controller. And so here's what we got. We've got the unload and the uncoupling button. And it's just got a little metal plate with two screws to take off. This is the track that the UCS has. It has a little electromagnet here in the center, as well as these two inner rails that operate the older flying shoes for uncoupling the older cars. Lionel introduced the magnetic uncoupler, I believe, in 1948 when they came out with the new magnetic couplers versus the coil couplers. And so 48 or 49 is when they started coming out with these UCSs as opposed to RCS that didn't have the magnet but still the two inner rails. So alright, let's just go ahead and get right into this. And it's just two little screws in the back. And the wire got really brittle from age, and so I just clipped off the old brittle wire. And so we're going to go ahead and rewire this one. So we're going to go ahead and wire this with new 4-conductor wire, and very similar to what Lionel originally used. Just strip the little bit of the tips off. I've got my parrot in the background, just hanging out. So there we go. We got 4 wires. I'm going to go ahead and remove the little plates that are in here. And go ahead and move this for now. It's all held together with one screw on the top, and I take it out in order. Screw and washer, spacer, plate, spacer, plate. This is an important little piece, this little spacer here. And another one of the square spacers, plate, spacer, and the last piece that is spring loading, holding these in place. So I guess the first step is to unsolder all of this. Not necessarily a fun project. Alright, so the 4 pieces or plates are free of the old wire. And then what I do is I'll wire these in order. And on my 4-conductor wire here, I've got one that's got a little red thread on it, so I always start with the first plate with the red thread. A little clamp or clip helps a lot. Try to go with the least amount of solder possible. And I'll clip the little end off. Because you don't want the wires touching each other when the buttons aren't pressed. With the next one in order, working from the bottom up. Having a little clip kind of helps. Need a little more solder on that one. Usually I do this with some music in the background. Really the key is not having anything that's touching one plate to the next. So I try to make this as flat as possible when it's coming off the conductor plate. Alright, my favorite one, the last one. Really, the key is just patience with this. Alright, I make sure I keep everything in order from how I wired it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we can place it back in, one at a time, just like how we took it out. There's one. Here's number 2. Alright, so this one's a little special because it's between these two plates that we put that little round disc spacer in there. And there's a tip on each end that fits in the hole. And then the little tip fits in that hole too, and they're locked in place. And then the last one. And most of these have a pretty good curl on the one end because the intent is that this side never touches the top plate. One more spacer. And then the screw and washer. Really is tedious work. I always do a twist here. And just snug. And kind of see it working here. So we have the uncouple side. That's the side that has the little curl on the end of the plate at the top. And then the unload is this side, where eventually all 4 plates will touch. We should be good. One more little snug. Yeah, we're good. And the plate has a little dimple or tip here that sits over the wire. There's one. And 2. And it's done. So all I have to do now is just strip the ends off this, and we'll bring it over to my transformer and test it out. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and test this controller that we just wired, and I run it straight in. So I take the flat ribbon cable and I run it straight in. There's that little piece of red thread that's in the one end, and we'll go ahead and turn on the power. There's the light. Nothing should happen when I roll over it, so let's go ahead and hit the uncouple button, and there it goes. So it works the magnetic coupler just fine. So let's Let's go ahead and put the operating car on. Give it some power. Nothing should happen rolling it over. Let's go ahead and hit the uncoupling button, and that lifts both couplers. Let's go ahead and hit the unload button, and it's working just fine. So in just a few minutes, that's how we rewired our UCS controller. And this is Al, and I hope you have a great day. Take care, everybody.